Good morning, LinkedIn. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, the world. Coming up on today's show, we have world famous Zoom producer, Kristie Norris, live in the Cobra Club here on the Gritty Business Show.
Woo!
Good morning, Ed.
Actually. Good morning, Andy. How are you this morning?
Very well, thank you. Very well. Looking forward to today's show. Like I say, we've got Kristie Norris, aka ETA Girl Friday, in the house. And it's going to be a fantastic show. We're going to get to learn a bit more about Zoom and Zoom producing and podcasting and all those sorts of things. So really looking forward to that, aren't we?
Absolutely. One of those people that you always learn something from every time you speak to. So a very useful bunny to have on our show. So how's the Cobra Club doing at present, Andy?
The Cobra Club is going from strength to strength. And I don't know whether we should run through the new members first and then we'll talk about what's happening next week.
Well, let's welcome the new members.
Yes, let's do that. I'll hit the button then, shall I? Okay, here we go. Right, let's welcome these new members into the Cobra Club.
Right, well, we're having a really good last week, so let me introduce you to and welcome Calvin Christopher, who's joined the Cobra Club. Welcome, Calvin. Caroline Moon, also welcome. Andrew Mail, hi Andrew. Marcelo Piero, Mark Richardson, Alessandro Rashi, and Luke Westwood. Welcome to the Cobra Club. Come and join the community. It's a fab place to be.
Yes, and welcome to all the new people. And if you're out there watching today, anyone's out there watching, they want to say hi, pop your question in the comments, get yourself a shout out. If you want to come on the show, just drop something in the DMs and we'll get you on. But yeah, we're looking forward to Kristie coming up soon. But we've got something going on in the club.
That's really exciting.
So, and I just want to show you a little bit of what we got coming up on the 1st of June. There it is, the Summer Biz Fest. It's at the Cobra Club, which is the virtual business hub, between 10 and 5 on the 1st of June. And we've got quite a few things coming up. So I'm just going to roll through some of these really
Do you have to be a member to come, Andy, before you go?
What's that? Sorry, mate?
Do you have to be a member to come to this Summer Biz Fest?
You don't have to be a member. It is free to attend, and all you have to do is go to the cobraclub.co.uk, go onto our events page, and you can get yourself a free ticket to come along and come to our inspiring workshops. And some of those workshops are as follows. So we have got How to Dominate Social Media Marketing workshop by Logan Blackburn-Issett. He says, light your social media marketing on fire with this training that will equip you with the things that you can action immediately. So that's looking forward to that.
Useful, man.
Then we also have at 12 p.m., 11 p.m., LinkedIn Success Surgery with Naomi Johnson. Get your LinkedIn barriers broken down with the surgery and scale up your presence, which sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
then we also have a goal setting workshop, or ABC to Confidence, with Natalie King. Find out more in this engaging workshop designed for today's successful business owners. And it's all about how to grow your confidence. Brilliant. So that's looking good, isn't it, Ed?
I'm going to say yes, because that's a confident way of saying it.
Then we have the website conversion workshop with Lamara Craythorne, how to get your website traffic to convert into customers. So I highly recommend all these workshops, but that's going to be a great one too. And then we have Mr. Graham Bayliss, Mr. Serendipity himself, doing an SEO workshop, ranking your website SEO workshop with Graham Bayliss. SEO without the flim-flam. Learn how to increase your website traffic with a few small tweaks.
Do you know, these people you just learn so much from. It's great. And like I say, it's free. So come and get involved.
Yeah. Next one up, Ed, we got the Positivity Power Hour with Fran, with tips and tricks on how to stay on track and not let life get you down.
One of the most positive people you'll ever meet. Fran doing the wing.
And the last workshop we got on the day, you're going to like this one, Ed.
Who's he?
Supercharge your sales, Mr. Ed Williamson. How to convert more people in face-to-face meetings. So, give us a quick rundown, Ed. What's it all about?
Exactly what it says in the tin. So, if you're going and seeing clients and they're not doing what you want them to do, it's probably something that you could do better within the presentation that you're doing. So, without being a pushy salesman, learn how to sell and understand what your customer needs.
Brilliant. Well. Looking forward to those.
Oh, they're going to be good.
And there's,
I'm going to go to it.
Yeah, and there's a couple more things happening on the day. We've got the Business Generator networking event and the 300 Club, which is a networking event. So plenty going on inside the Cobra Club. It's a free ticket for anyone who wants to come along. Come along, meet loads of people, do a bit of networking, learn some skills. That would elevate your business.
Yeah, bring a friend. It's like I said, it's a free event, and it's we get a very healthy turnout to our business fests, do we not?
Yes. Yeah, come and get your diary full of new leads and contacts. So that's brilliant. So what else we got going on? What's happening in Operation Baseline, Ed?
Well, Operation Baseline is going from strength to strength, really. So Operation Baseline is a sales and marketing company that Andrew and I run. And we've got a really diverse pool of clients. But one of the things we're really having fun with at present is what they call offboarding, which is a lot of people have social media followers and groups, etc. But the issue with social media is that you don't actually control that data. It's out there on social media, and social media really has control of your business. It decides what you can and can't put. If it wants to shut you down and you can get hacked, all these sorts of things. If you can offboard that same community onto your website, then you can have all the benefits that come alongside that. Firstly, that data is your data. You can talk to those people how you want to talk to them. You can very much around your brand, and you can engage that audience far more effectively. So we're finding to offboarding from social media onto your own dedicated community on your website a really, really strong way of boosting your business. So we've got a lot of interest and a lot of activity going on in that arena currently. But yeah, it's fab. So if you'd like to chat around communities, give Ed or Andy a call at Operation Baseline, and let me just put up one of them. Just whack me an email, and we can talk a bit more about offboarding your community and onboarding it onto your own community on your site. If you need help with your CRM or your sales strategy or your marketing, come and have a chat. We're very good at it.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Ed. That's fantastic. Now, I just want to just quickly, before we get our first guest in, coming up next Thursday, 25th of May at 10 a.m., we have the Property Club. So you're out there and you're watching, you're into property or construction or anything related in those industries, come along to the Property Club. Once again, go to the cobraclub.co.uk, go to the events page. You can get yourself a ticket there, or just DM us again and we'll get you a ticket. And it's for all those people in property and construction that just want to network and build connections, really. So it's a good event hosted by the wonderful Louise Montblat. And there's plenty going to be going on.
Tour de force. That is Louise Montblat, who's currently on a cruising, having a super time, because she's a success.
Yes. Brilliant. So what I'm going to do now, Ed, I'm going to introduce Kristie, and we're going to play a little video. And when it finishes, she's going to magically appear in here. So I'm going to talk about Kristie Norris, aka the ETA Girl Friday. Kristie's a Zoom producer and a VA. And Kristie's going to be talking today about overwhelm and focusing more on the audience on an online workshop or as an online workshop host. Kristie is a professional Zoom producer. To make sure that while you concentrate on delivering your speech or presentation, that all the tech runs smoothly behind the scenes. And if your Zoom often feels like a car crash, they can do sometimes for sure, then book in a call to speak with Kristie. But anyway, we're going to find out from more Kristie in a minute. So in the meantime, let's roll this VT about Kristie, actually. Here she is.
Woo! Welcome, Kristie.
Good morning, Kristie.
Good morning.
I love that. Hey, ETA. Very cool. Very cool, Eva. How are you?
Well, you see, I had to be different. Lots of other people have hello at their business name. So, hey, ETA.
Hey, ETA is pretty damn cool, isn't it?
Very good. Very good. So going to your name, ETA, is it exact time of arrival, or is it ETA a...
Well, there we are. You want the story behind the name.
The story behind it.
My parents came up with the name. Parts each part from my parents. So ETA. One morning, my mum came in and said, ETA, that's what you should be called, ETA. And I was like, yeah, tell me a bit more. And you are right, estimated time of arrival. Because at the time ETA Girl Friday originally started, I was also a travel consultant.
Okay.
I was like, right, okay. But of course, for a virtual assistant, I couldn't leave it with that same meaning, could I? So I had to think of how I was going to change it. So it actually stands for Event Train Assist. Because I originally wanted to support business trainers. And of course, to some extent, I've gone full circle to being back to the main focus being business trainers. But of course, a lot of other businesses now are doing workshops and masterclasses over Zoom. So yes, and Girl Friday was my dad's input. So yeah, a family effort in the name.
Brilliant. No, really, I mean, it sort of stands out as a business name, and yeah, no, I love it. So
it could stand for Ed's Terrible Acne, but I think I think you've got a better version of it than that.
So obviously, Kristie, maybe you could tell us just a couple of minutes, a little bit about your background. Obviously, you've worked in travel before, and sort of the things that sort of led you up to your current path of being sort of going down the route of Zoom producing.
Okay, well, yeah, so it's been an interesting one. I have started to say that I'm an accidental entrepreneur. I never, ever in a million years thought I'd be a business owner. But I was made redundant in 2016, and it was time for a change. So what was I going to do? Now, I have to say, I'd wanted to get into travel, but couldn't quite figure out how I was going to do it. So I came across a travel franchise, and my parents were happy to support me, and I joined the travel franchise. So that was 2017. I had a 3-year contract. So, of course, we then spring on to 2020. It was a very steep learning curve, that travel and starting a new business. But, of course, in 2020, when I was rethinking my contract, you can probably understand why it was a very easy decision to say, I think it's time I stop the travel business and think about something else.
What was happening, Kristie, that made it so difficult?
I think the whole world knows what was happening in 2020.
Especially I mean, more than pretty well any other industry, that was completely shut down, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, decimated overnight, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it was a straightforward thing to stop. Now, ETA Girl Friday did actually start in October 2019 because I was running my own networking events and everyone kept saying to me, you're really good at this. So I thought, okay. So I started as a virtual assistant, wanted to help business trainers with their in-person workshops. Now, my first workshop was due to happen on the 8th of April 2020. So that was not meant to be either, was it? So, another reason.
A physical event at that stage, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That was going to be a physical event. So it was
amazing how, I suppose, the positive of COVID is that people's acceptance of this sort of conversation has totally grown, hasn't it? Yeah.
Massively. I don't think I've ever got to this point if we hadn't have had the pandemic, and I wouldn't have met all the amazing people that I've met over the last.
It was the same with the Cobra Club. It was just it was, and you do it out of necessity because you have to, because you've got to keep putting bread on the table. But same for us, really. It sort of opened up our eyes to the benefits of virtual, and it it's really catapulted us to success, and you too, really.
Exactly. So I say it was all a bit of a rethink, and like lots of people in 2020, it's like, what am I going to do? So now I had my local Rotary Club and another local community wanted to get online, so I helped them with Zoom meetings right in the early days. Apologies. And of course, my networking group's getting them on, and I also did a virtual coffee for just anyone and everyone, not just business owners, because obviously we're all stuck at home. So I did all these things. Obviously, being part of the Cobra Club then later on helped my confidence again, because obviously we're using breakout rooms in Zoom all the time and all those different things. And then it was a case of, okay, I can see where I fit. After going around saying that I'm a virtual assistant, and I do have over 20 years of admin experience, but I didn't have a focus. I didn't have a, come to me for this, come to me for that. I couldn't pinpoint what I wanted. So when I started with the Zoom producer, and it's like, this is me. This is what I want to do. And now it makes it easier to push. And it's one of those things that you still go along to meetings, and it's like, I could just help. I could help you so much more if you just give me the chance, because it's not all about the meeting on the day. It's having those conversations to, how does your ideal workshop look like to you? You tell me how the ideal workshop will look like, and then I can help you make sure you have the tools available on the day, have that run through, and make it all run that much smoother. And I say, I'm so happy that I found my niche as a Zoom producer.
Brilliant. What are the sort of the current problems you see? I mean, obviously you attend a lot of events. What's the most common things that people are doing wrong, or could improve on?
Right. I think the first thing is, it's not something that what's the first thing people could improve on? Well, it's when you have your audience in front of you. We all know, we've all done Zoom calls and we've all done presentations, most of us now, that it's trying to focus on your audience while you're actually getting your information across. So I think the biggest thing is stopping distractions quickly. So it's that whole thing, if you're doing your presentation, you don't want to get lost into where you are. But then if someone starts talking over it, because at the end of the day, you'll ask people to mute, but not everyone will, for whatever reason, if they haven't muted. And then there'll suddenly be background noise, and you have distractions then, which then puts everybody off. Yeah. So
it's very easy to be taken off message, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you can get on tangents, etc.
Exactly.
And the group can take over almost. Whereas I assume that having you in there helps to keep the meeting focused on what the objectives of the meeting actually were in the first place, or the training, or whatever else is going on.
Yeah. I mean, just being able to stop those distractions in their tracks, because again, I completely get it from hosting my own meetings, trying to keep the agenda going and keeping an eye on who's making the noise so that you can mute the noise to carry on. It's a lot to deal with, especially if you get nervous about presenting, because again, there's plenty of people that have presented in person and possibly done that for years, and then they come to do it online, and it's a completely different game.
Very much so.
Yeah, keeping track of the agenda and the timeline as well. I've been on some training workshops before, not inside the Cobra Club, but other ones, and it was all over the place. I mean, it didn't run smoothly. There was all sorts of bad stuff going on inside it, and I was just sitting there trying to communicate to the sort of speaker at the time, or the actual Zoom producer. I was training the Zoom producer at the time into what she should be doing. It was quite shocking. So I can see the value of having someone who really is competent and understands, you know, how to run an event, how to manage an event online. It's very different, isn't it?
And do you help manage all the course material and all that sort of thing as well, so that everyone has what they've got to have, and that things are followed up on, and people,
It's all within whatever happens. So, as I said in my introduction a bit, the very first interaction we have is that conversation of what does your ideal meeting or workshop look like? And that's the starting point to make sure then that they have the tools available that they need on the day.
Yeah.
As well as me then gauging, okay, so what do you want me to do? Because you'll have one person that will literally just want me to be in the background, letting people in, because just that alone can be one distraction too many. Keeping an eye on the chat and literally just being quiet, where you'll get someone else that will want me to interact a bit more, because again, how many meetings have you been on where they start a conversation and no one wants to start with it asking any questions? So I be the person that breaks the silence by asking that
really
first
useful.
getting it going.
Oh, that's the question that I wanted. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
There's also quite a lot of admin around running a course. So I suppose your other skill sets, you can focus in on making sure that the whole process, not just the actual meeting, but the invite to the meeting, how people are going to get in. And of course, some of the attendees don't know Zoom very well, or don't know how to unmute their computer and all that sort of malarkey. You sort of take all that away, so that I suppose that if I'm the presenter, I have a room full of people who are able to listen to me and able to do what they've got to do, able to complete the course, therefore see value in the course, therefore hopefully sign up to another course. And the overall benefit of that professional top and tail and management all the way through probably significantly raises most people doing these things above their competition.
Big time, because let's face it, if you have lots of people have been doing free masterclasses, haven't they? And the whole idea is you do the free masterclass in order to get people to sign up to a paid program that you provide, understandably so. And if that masterclass runs smoothly and they get all the answers they need, so for instance, it can be just as simple as, people have technical difficulties, but if throughout the session they're gaining the information in the chat that they require to sign up to do the next part before they drop out, then they're more likely to sign up to the next phase. But also just having those questions, because obviously any straightforward questions I can answer in the chat straight away. So if someone has to leave early, they've gained what they need beforehand, or they've passed the question on to me, so that if nothing else, they know that after the call that person then will be in touch with them to follow it up, because they're interested in the next step. Whereas if you're on a session that is stunted because you've either had technical issues, or how many meetings have you been on when someone said, please bear with me while I just check for any questions in the chat. Please do talk amongst yourselves, and you have complete silence. I would not want to be that person reading messages when you've got complete silence. So have someone else do it for you, so that when you're ready for questions, it's just a case of, Kristie, what questions do we have? And it might well be that there's no questions, but I might see that someone's looking a bit confused. So it'd be like, well, actually there are no questions, but perhaps have a word with perhaps Ed, you might have a question for the host and things like that, because again, when you're online, we all know this now after the last 3 years, that you're always looking into your camera, so you look like you're looking at your audience, but you're not always necessarily looking at your audience.
No, 100%.
Your camera is
100%.
So you can't see that.
And, if people want to go sort of sharing their content on Facebook and LinkedIn and everything else that you can share content on, you can help them organise that, can you?
I don't currently do that. From that side of things, obviously, if I'm working with you, I'm happy to share with my network, so then it gives you a wider audience for your event to go out to. But you never know. Watch this space. That could be
Watch this space.
next.
But it's one of the benefits of being part of the Cobra Club, actually, isn't it? Because there's always someone who you know who's really good, who you know, like, and trust, who you can introduce to solve most problems that clients have. And that's it. Just makes us all stronger, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And as you all know, I run a VA networking group. So being hosting that group gives me a whole
collaborate.
That is the one, and it is on today at 1:30. And I didn't realise till this morning that it's actually International Virtual Assistant Day today.
Is it really?
I'm going to have my meeting.
So tell me, what's the benefits to a VA of? Because often, when you go to networking meetings, you'll see one VA turn up, and then another VA turns up, and you can almost see daggers between the two. As you have massive experience in that field, tell me about the benefits of actually collaborating and working together. How do you find that as a VA?
Oh, massively. I mean, first of all, I do have to say that since I started the group, I think a lot of people probably find it quite nerve-wracking when you create a group in your own industry, because you haven't met. Until I started the group, I hadn't met that many VAs properly to have conversations. But since I've started the group, we can all offer such a wide variety of services. And at the end of the day, when I have my meetings, we concentrate on what do they enjoy the most. We can all do possibly a whole load of tasks, but there will always be a handful of tasks that you would prefer to do. So I have worked with at least 2 people in my group. I was lucky enough to have another lady that's great with Zoom producing, so she supported a meeting as I was on another workshop. I've had another lady help because her expertise is more in Excel. I mean, I'm great with Excel, but this particular job needed someone that had better skills than me, and we worked together. And I think that's what we all need to learn. It's all about collaboration, not competition.
I love it. You're actually spot on, right? And Andy and I mean, in our worlds, the benefits of just being connected to really good people. And that's a benefit of also networking with them, because you get to know them and you get to know your client, and you know the people, and you know who will work well with different people. And just to have that you can actually get help, and there are experts out there. And actually, it's okay to say, I'm not very good at that, but I know someone who is.
Exactly.
Your client loves you for it. Yeah. So, Kristie Norris, tell me, if you were looking to engage and to start your own online service, being a coach or counsellor or whatever you're going to do, would you give somebody some top tips for sort of getting themselves set up and sort of ready? And before you give me your top tips, I'm going to play this. What are your top tips, Kristie Norris?
What are my top tips? Well, the very first one is turn on the tech 30 minutes before you're due to start. Make sure it's all working. You don't have to be sat there for the whole 30 minutes, because let's face it, once you've got it all switched on, you can see it's working, all is good. You can take a sigh of relief and then just wait for people to start to turn up. Tip number 2 is, when you're asking for responses from your audience, as in you want them to speak to you rather than put it in the chat, ask them to raise their hand in the reactions menu, because it'll bring them to the top of the screen.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because how many times we're all very good at raising our physical hand. But unfortunately, when you do that, you still stay in the same place. So they lose track of you. So if you raise your electronic hand under the reactions menu, you go straight to the top. So the audience, there's no way you can be missed for your question at that point then. So that's a good one.
Very good.
And the third one, and I have to say I've not used it too much myself, but it's when you're in breakout rooms. You know, you can broadcast to the breakout rooms, and we've all been there when you broadcast a message and you told them something like they've got 5 minutes left or it's time for the next person to talk. Any of those comments, most people go, I didn't see that message.
Yeah.
And it's because it does come up quite small at the top of the screen. And if you're busy in conversation, it's easily missed. So you can now actually voice your broadcast message. They can't not hear you then. They know it's time. So give that a go. If you do breakout rooms, do a voice message to broadcast to everyone that they've only got 2 minutes left until they come back, or that's 60 seconds. And I'm going to give a bonus tip. With if you have a Zoom account, you can actually have apps, use some different apps with Zoom. And if you've had a paid account since January this year, you get access to the Essential apps for 12 months for free. So check them out and see if there's anything of interest there for you. There's a substantial number of them. There's at least 12 of them, if not more, apps. You know, different things from transcription of your meeting afterwards, or showing your details on the screen.
What's the most useful you've found?
Well, it's early days for me. I haven't looked at all of them, but I've done Warmly, which which shows your information at the bottom of the screen, because you will notice that I don't use a virtual background, but having my details up in front of me on the screen makes a big difference, makes me stand out just that little bit more.
Like that.
And I have used Read AI, which I have to say, they give you a summary of your meeting, and it even goes as far as to tell you whether it was a positive meeting or not.
No,
I would hope that most people's meetings were positive when they get that back.
You don't want a negative. It's like being scored.
A positive summary. And they tell you who spoke most throughout the meeting. Right. It's quite interesting.
That's called Read.
Read, yeah.
Okay, and that's just a free service on Zoom if you've been there since January.
Yep.
Wow, that's really
good. It's interesting, isn't it? We recorded a couple of. I mean, you can get pages and pages of transcript, but it's good to have that as a, as long as your client knows or your guests know that that's going to happen. That could be a positive thing. Sometimes these things follow you around a bit on Zoom. Every time you open it up, you get followed by your own robots that come into the meetings too, which is a little bit weird to get your head around to start with. But I'm sure once you get to know it, then it's all commonplace, isn't it?
Mm.
Now then, we like to put you on the spot. The Quitty Business Show, and you're somebody who has a vast experience of different roles. So one of your roles in the past was that travel consultant role. So watch this VT and tell me what you think.
That's a really easy one. Very, very easy. And it's the place that got me into wanting to be working in travel in the first place. It's New Zealand.
Oh,
I
nice.
Absolutely love it. And I've been lucky enough to go twice.
Brilliant.
So New Zealand, top of the list. Definitely. I've done it solo and I've done it with a friend.
Wow.
What about New Zealand inspires you?
I guess it will be closer to me for the fact that I actually braved to do it on my own. That for me, when I did that in 2008, well, the thing is in 2008, when I went to do that trip, before that, I used to get nervous about travelling from Wales to London on the train. And then I was ready to go to the other side of the world. It was a silly thing to do.
Choose the furthest away destination you can possibly think of. Yeah.
So I think it's more the fact that I did that for myself.
Yeah.
But there are so many different types of places. I mean, in the country, I've done both the North and the South Island, and you've got such a variety as you go through. Yeah, it's just absolutely amazing, and I thoroughly recommend, if no one's done a solo trip, it is worth doing. And I would imagine that it probably is the same in most places when you travel, because when you're on your own, you are more likely to meet people and talk to them.
Yeah.
And do different things, because yes, you travel with other people, it's easy to stay in your group, isn't it? But it is that whole getting out of your comfort zone. I was very lucky to go on one 4x4 tour, and I was the only person that signed up. So I had basically a private tour just for me on the South Island at one point. I shared a table with people from Texas when I went for a lunch out one day that was recommended to me. And a few of those people actually came from the place where I actually spent a couple of years living, which was in Odessa, West Texas. So amazing.
I think Graham's cracking jokes for us. Good to see general disarray. Thank you for your inputs up.
Brilliant. I think next question then, Ned.
Oh, we're gonna have to keep you on your toes now. That was too easy for you, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So let's just let's find a little bit more about it. I think there's more to you than meets the eye. So, Kristie Norris, what's your secret talent that you don't know about?
See now you have taken me off guard. My secret talent. Wow. Trying to think what people don't know about me.
Graham's on form, by the way.
Oh wow, that's a really difficult one. A secret talent.
Hobby, talent, thing we don't know about you. What? Have I floored you?
You haven't. You know that I'm great at connecting people, but that's a well-known thing that seems to be out there
That's
now.
not a secret talent. That's an
No,
obvious.
it's not secret.
Well, have a think about your secret talent. Let's ask you the next question, Kristie. So, sure it wasn't that long ago. Do you remember?
I can't remember exactly, but I would imagine it was probably a New Kids on the Block. I was a New Kids on the Block fan.
Very cool. Is that, are you tough enough and things, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, brilliant.
Very cool. You, Andy, what was the first piece of music you ever bought?
Who?
You.
Me?
Yeah.
What was it? I struggle to remember. It might have been like Billy Idol or something. White Wedding and all of that.
Yeah, very cool.
It's around about that sort of time.
Can't go wrong with the 80s.
Or actually, it could have been Shakin' Stevens.
Like having a green door.
Yeah, all those, back in those cheesy days.
Back in those days.
Show me age a bit.
Think back, you go, oh my goodness.
What's yours then?
I think the first single I ever bought was Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Power of Love, I think, was the first one I ever bought. First proper album I ever bought was a Queen album. So I'm a big Queen fan.
Very good. Have you seen them play live, Ed?
I know. I never got to see them play live, and because I'm such a diehard fan and an idiot, I've not booked to see them with their guest singers. Because I'm Mr. Freddie Mercury.
Hmm.
So it's or Larry Lurex, as he was known before he was Freddie Mercury. How about that for one?
Right.
Ah.
There we go.
Yeah, no,
Brilliant.
interesting stuff. So a big Queen fan when I was young.
Yeah, fantastic. So, Kristie, let's just quickly roll back. I just want to share a couple of little things briefly, and you can talk about these if I can just find them on my screen. So here we go. There we go. So let's talk about this event that you put on.
Oh, excellent. Kristie's Kaizen get together. I'm so pleased that I started this event. It is all about working on your business. So it's not a typical networking meeting. It is about business owners getting together and working on your business. Now that it all starts, we all come in and you might be stuck on a task, so you can share it with the group as to why you're stuck on a particular task, so we can see if we can help you. We then have a half an hour section, half an hour to 45 minutes, where we actually all bring tasks along, go and do those tasks. And then when the time is up, you then have the last 15 minutes to see how everyone got on and, how it went. Now, I'm very pleased. It doesn't always work to that format. It depends on who's in the room on the day, because sometimes they just need to talk through an issue, and talking helps. But I'm very pleased that I had one lady that was trying to do her accounts. Now, not many of us enjoy doing our accounts. So she managed to do one section, which she planned to do when she came along to my session.
Oh,
She also was then enthusiastic to go away and carry on with more of her accounts. Now, let's face it, if you can get someone enthusiastic about doing their accounts,
you've done your job well.
This is a good meeting. But yeah, they've always been, if someone gets something from it, then it's worth putting it on.
Where does the word Kaizen come from?
It is a Japanese word, and it means continuous improvement.
Can't go
Which,
wrong.
of course, that's what we all need to do every day. And I have to say, my dad came up with that name. So
Useful bunnies, your parents.
Yeah. How about this event then, Kristie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Excellent. Yes, the Coffee Collective. Myself and Hannah absolutely love this. This is networking, but it's very laid back networking. No worries about 60-second pitches. It is all about having a conversation, and you never know where the conversation may go. And it also means you can pop in at any point during that hour to join in the conversation. And it's a great way to get to know other business owners without the because it is so easy sometimes to go to a network meeting and be a bit salesy, try and
It's a low pressure, low sales.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think to come in and just have those conversations, and obviously people will ask if they've not met you before, so what is your business? I do have to say, Hannah's put me in a spot a few times where we've had new people and it's gone, okay, so can we guess what this person does for a living? I don't enjoy those weeks. Hannah's much better at those.
It's let's say if you're new to networking, it's a good one to go and cut your teeth on, because it's
good fun.
Very friendly. It's like I say, it's no pressure.
And sorry to interrupt. The other thing I do is you may not have noticed that I am a very smiley person. I like to keep everything upbeat. I found this wonderful book. So most weeks I read one of the clips from this book to start the week off right. Have a bit of an upbeat end to the Monday to carry on the week.
Yeah,
Very good.
totally. It's something we all forget, sort of mental health almost, isn't it? It's something we all forget when we're working like this, is that it is so important to how you come across is so important, that people, buy into you before they buy into anything else that you sell or do or anything else. And it's so important to start each meeting with that positive sort of frame of mind, isn't it?
Mm.
Start each day
Yeah.
with it.
It comes back to that thing, about Zoom producing, and if you're a customer out there or a business trying to sell your products through workshops, you're obviously, the quality of your workshop dictates the quality of your business. So if it is a shambles, most likely then your offering could be classed as a shambles too. Not always the case, but
and you feel good. You just feel good when you're supported by good people. So you feel professional.
I just think your stress levels themselves must lower just a little bit by having a second from there. I mean, I have supported sessions where they've dropped out just before the session was due to start. So I've welcomed people in, put them in a breakout room. They were all from the same company but in different parts of the world. Put them in a breakout room to introduce themselves to each other while the trainer had the opportunity to come in, take a breath, make sure that everything was working once he was in, without having everyone staring at him, and then bring the audience back in. It's also dropping out in the middle of a session, playing video clips that were needed at that time, luckily, and then starting those conversations until the trainer popped in. And I have to say, I do always find whatever resources I can to keep going at my end. I do have 2 different internet connections, so if one drops, I've got the other one. But I would love to tell you this story. I did several months ago. I woke up to no electricity in my house, and I was supporting a session at 8 o'clock in the morning. And so, right, what am I going to do? Well, again, you hear about my parents a lot, but luckily, my parents have a portable battery that I was able to use. So I plugged all my tech into that battery. I was the only house on the street with no electricity, so it wasn't an outage everywhere. It was just me. So my mum was on to the electric company to find out what was going on. They're all very good, but luckily I did the workshop. I did a 1-to-1, and I was literally saying goodbye to the guy on the 1-to-1 when everything closed down, the battery gave up. And I didn't have power until 8 p.m. that night, and I had a generator for the afternoon. They put a generator in my back garden for the afternoon, so I could get back up and running. But I don't give up easily. I could have easily rung the person and said, I'm really sorry, I can't run it because I don't have power.
So if somebody wants a meeting with you to talk about what they're doing and maybe explore the options of having a Zoom producer, what should they do?
Definitely. Well, I believe you have a link that they can arrange a booking with me so we can discuss what they're looking to do. And as I say, I think that's the other thing about having another person outside of the business to run the idea past. It helps to make it run that much smoother on the day and pinpoint bits that could be missing.
Yeah, best practice. Just know what other people are doing so that you can do it too. That's so valuable.
Exactly. But you can also email me. So you've got heyeta@etagirlfriday.co.uk.
Wonderful. And you'll do that 15, 20 minute, whatever, cup of coffee and have a chat.
Definitely.
Oh, fantastic. Kristie, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a real delight seeing you. And I would just say, come to your network meetings, which is a great opportunity to meet you. There's quite a few around. You can meet you physically and and online. You're a very well networked person. And get involved. It's amazing the benefits that you can put into someone's business for them.
Brilliant. Thank you, Kristie. Thanks so much for today, and we'll see you very soon.
Thank you very much. See you soon.
Take care.
See you later.
Bye. Bye.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Such
really
a
good.
useful person to know.
Very useful person. Highly recommend Kristie virtual workshop Zoom producing services. So yeah.
Do you know, in the club, we're very lucky that we have so many really, really good people. Who would be, in a week, who would be your hero of the week, Andrew?
Thanks, Ed. So my hero of the week is pretty straightforward this week. It's going to be Hannah Matarazzo. Hannah stepped in last minute to help us out so we could run the show, because we were covering holidays and all sorts of things inside the Cobra Club. So
froze.
Hero of the week, yeah, you froze there, Ed. You were just like, oh. So my hero of the week is Hannah Matarazzo, who's currently looking after the club in our absence. So thank you, Hannah.
And what does Hannah do for us here?
She does all sorts of video marketing sort of messages, and I'm just going to run a quick little video about Hannah. So special thanks to Hannah, our emotive content creator.
Thanks, Hannah.
Fantastic work. And we've only got a few more minutes, but I've just got enough time to ask you for this week's words of wisdom.
Words of Okay, so if we listen to Kristie, you have choices in life. And some of those choices that you have are to do something or not do something. So I'm going to quote someone called Amelia Earhart, and she's an inspirational woman from the past. And she says, the most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. The fears are paper tigers. You can do anything you decide to do. You can act to change and control your life. And the procedure, the process is its own reward. In effect, if you don't do it, it'll never happen. So doing it is part of the process of finding out what works and what doesn't work. It's not, don't be scared of it, embrace it. And I think Kristie sums that up fantastically. If you listen to her and she's talking about travel, she could either go to New Zealand or not. She could have gone to Wales and seen some lovely mountains, close to where she lives. But the decision to do that is the most difficult decision to do. After that, it's just booking the tickets and going on and turning up at the airport and getting on the plane and actually making it happen. That's the tenacity of following it through. It's the decision to act that is the most important thing. And I think the Cobra Club sums it up really, really nicely. When you come to the Cobra Club, it's the decision to do something that's different to what you were doing before. Decision to come to join, decision to come to get involved, a decision to change and to do better in business. And we've seen fantastic success at the club through that, and inspirational people like Kristie.
Yeah, it's like, people building confidence and going on and just steps, and just getting better and more confident. And
I think to understand that we all go through the same process. When we do the first Gritty Business show live, this must be now episode number 100 odd, or when we do the first one, we didn't know what was going to happen or what the reaction would be. But we can either do it or not do it. The decision to do it, and then that we could then get it better and make it more, and so on and so forth. And it's the same with running a business. It's the same with starting your first job. It's the same with your first day at school. You go right back through life. But the decision to act is the most important thing. The rest of it is just working out what to do when you do it.
Brilliant. Thanks for those wise words, Ed. And like I say, you can see Ed down in his sales strategy room next Thursday, Thursday, 1st of June at 3 p.m. So come along to the Summer Biz Fest. Check out all the workshops we got going. Come get yourself a free ticket. Just head on to the Cobra Club website, go to the events page, and grab yourself a free ticket for the Summer Biz Fest. 1st of June, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So, Ed, I think we're almost there. So what I'm going to do is hit this last couple of VTs, and yeah, we'll be back soon, folks. So it's been great. Thanks, Ed. I'd like to thank Kristie Norris again, ETA Girl Friday, and we'll see you soon, guys.
Over and out.
Bye.
Now you're watching me, yeah, all eyes on me, 'cause I've been living the good life. So come fly with me into my fantasy, and we be loving the good life, good life.
I think this dream now just hit me. Why don't you just go there with me? Surfing the skies and splash in the clouds, dance in the crowds and laugh out loud. Holding your hand, unfolding a plan. Two souls in a land like gold in a pan. Float in the breeze or soak in the sea. Come go there with me where we both wanna be. Lie on the beach or fly in the streets. I'm trying to keep this vine in the reach. Putting everything I do aside, me and you are first. We can travel to the very end of the universe. You and me are meant to be divine energy. Living with no rules in a pool of serenity. Come be my fantasy, go away with me. Lock us up in a dream and throw away the keys. Come on, live this up now. Good life, good laugh, good love now. Come on, live this with me. Good laugh, good love, we live free. Come on, live this up now. Good life, good laugh, good love now. Come on, live this with me. Good laugh, good love, we live free. We need to rise with these new eyes. Pull the disguise off of these blue skies. Lights in the city reflect off the shoreline. When you're living this life, you want more time. Rewind the time, align planets. Ride this comet to a new dynamic. Your eyes on me, mine on you. Living the good life, we do what
Now
we
you're
want to.
watching me, yeah,